Hey, it's Don McLaughlin, founder of the Growth Reset, checking in along the Yampa River in my hometown, Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and I hope you're doing well. I want to dive in immediately and talk about this topic that I've come to know as radical responsibility, and why I think it's essential for founders and CEOs who want to grow and scale their business, but do so without burning out or blowing up their personal life. So what I want to do is just give you the situation in context, and then share some tools that I discovered and continue to use, and then talk about the outcome, what this radical responsibility actually does in day-to-day life as a founder or CEO. So the situation or context is that years ago, in the midst of my last business, Falcon Discovery, I got to the point where I was really struggling, and just felt like I was spinning my wheels and getting sidetracked so often with fear and worry about so many aspects of the business, but also about competitors, about changes in the just the market that were really creating challenges in the business. And I'm speaking specifically to the post-2008 crisis, right? That was the last great financial crisis, and it definitely impacted our business. So the long and short of it is that I was looking at everything outside of myself, external circumstances, changes in the market, the financial crisis, what competitors were doing. I was getting so caught up in all of that I forgot and left behind my own role in where we were as a business. And in that way, I was relinquishing my own power. And so what is this radical responsibility? Well, I discovered it in my lowest moment that I've talked about before, November 3rd, 2012. And on that day, I had this great discovery, and it was really an awakening. And what I discovered was that, all these things that I thought were broken in my business, they weren't broken. There were aspects of the way I was leading my life, both as a CEO, as a father, and as a person, and that I had to take 100% personal responsibility for the outcomes and the results that I was creating in my life. And that's really the first tenet of radical responsibility, is complete acceptance, 100% personal responsibility, right? Which is it's difficult to do because we're in a culture increasingly that has a lot of finger pointing and a lot less holding ourselves personally responsible and accountable. And the second thing is that I just didn't want to look at the areas of deficiency and the shortcomings that I had, and that was one of the reasons I was looking outside at external circumstances for the source of why we weren't progressing, why we really couldn't grow and scale the business. So that's the first tool, is to just practice that 100% personal responsibility for all the outcomes and results in our lives. And it's so critical as a leader of a business because, the adage is true. The buck stops with the leader of that organization. And so it's imperative for us to take that on and demonstrate what it means to live in 100% personal responsibility. So the second tool is that this dimension of acceptance is that, yes, we take 100% personal responsibility, but the reality of that is it's a lot to carry around day in and day out, to embrace that we're responsible for every result and outcome in our life. And we're going to fall short, right? And then we can get into a cycle where we beat ourselves up and we then start pointing the fingers. Why? Again, because we don't want to look at our deficiencies. And so this is the other critical thing that I discovered November 3rd, 2012, is that it requires 100% acceptance of self-acceptance, to accept our shortcomings and our limitations, and practice this compassion for ourselves and forgiveness for the ways in which we fall short. So that's the other dimension to acceptance. Again, 100% personal responsibility, accepting that responsibility, but also fully accepting ourselves. And then the second major tool is it's action, right? It's not just about thinking about things differently, but it's also getting into action. And embedded within this is a recognition that there is no one coming for us in whatever endeavor we have in life, and certainly as founders and CEOs, right? There's no rescue around the corner. We need to be our own rescue. And I know that sounds so cliche, but how true I've discovered it to be, that we need to take it on ourselves. There's no one coming for us, and that we can do so by asking this question: what's the next best choice to exercise 100% personal responsibility, and take that and make that choice, and in that way make forward progress in exercising and practicing 100% personal responsibility. And what's the outcome? The results. In my experience, my leadership changed significantly in this way. I started to take responsibility for the areas of our business and also my personal life that were falling short. And in so doing, I reclaimed the power that I'd been relinquishing by looking at external circumstances, right? I reclaimed that power. And also, I was far more engaged because I felt much more agency about changing our circumstances, and again, growing the business and scaling it in a way that I could do so while also reclaiming my health and practicing the other things I've spoken about in terms of caring for myself so that I could give even more both to my business and to my family. So again, the message for me is, and that I remind myself consistently of, is that as leaders, we must practice 100% personal responsibility. And it's radical, right? Because, so often we look at external circumstances, competitors, market conditions that are changing as the cause for us not moving forward. But in my experience, if we can accept 100% responsibility, accept our own shortcomings, and then move into action, recognizing that no one's coming for us, what a difference that can make in allowing us to grow and move forward and really lead. Look forward to chatting real soon.